I'm sharing with you live today my dual 90-degree drive setup. And let me slow this down. This one has 4 magnets on it. So when this trigger strand hits, the magnets that are aligned with the coils all those coils are hitting. And then when it shifts to this one, then all those coils are hitting. So it's literally like a 2-phase drive electric motor. So it's pretty cool. Ceramic bearings, 100%, magleved. And start at 12 volts. And we're going to work our way up. Okay, so you see that the off phase one, when it shifts to on phase, then all the magnets shift. So it should be pretty cool. Hello, and welcome. Checking out a multi-phase motor. Nice. That's what we're generating. Thank you. Thank you. That's a 4-magnet rotor right there. So it's pretty neat how it works. I can make it work like this and turn that switch off, and then it'll work with just the one drive. And you can hear that sucker go. Oh yeah, wow. 20 volts in. Let's go up to 25. No, sir. Hello, hello. Let's see how fast it's going though. So 4,000 would be 1,000 RPMs. So we're at like over 1,500, maybe? No, almost 1,500. So cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a motor for sure. Let's turn on the switch here. No, it's definitely slowed down there. It definitely did slow down. That's 31 volts in. That's just the max I can do right now. I'm gonna get a 60 volt buck converter and then we can go up to 60. But 31 is as high as it'll go. But I got an 8 magnet rotor too that's kind of similar to this one. It actually works better than this one does, I think. But the thing is that when you switch on drive 2, then they both hit at the same time because there's 8 magnets on there instead of 4. This one, it hits one after the other, and with the 8 magnet rotor they'll both hit at the same time. So let's try that. Let's see what that's all about. Sweet. All right. Now these coils right here are interesting because they have huge cores and they're only wrapped twice with 20 gauge. So they're really like strong magnetic field. Extremely like strong. When I say strong, I mean strong. At least for, you know, a bedroom toy. All right, here. I'm trying not to get the magnets too close to my phone. There's the 8 magnet rotor. Let me put them side by side. They're pretty similar, huh? Yeah. I like the design so much that, you know, and this one's more flywheel than the other one. Sweet. It's in there. Nice. Wow. That is a magnificent piece of plastic right there. It's got 100% infill in toroid. So it's really heavy. And then it's got 8 magnets in the toroid as well. So it's additional weight. And it's all on the edge. If you can see, there's like no material in the middle. It's all on the edge. That doesn't seem like it engaged. There it goes. Yay. All right. Now this is 12. This is both drives active. 12 volts in. Let's jack it up just a little bit. 20 volts. And this is how much we're getting off the induction. I have 3 coils linked in series. Some of Bifilar, and they're actually linked together in series to fuel the second drive. Not bad. So the faster it spins, the more active the second drive will be. .31 volts. Gonna have to back that off. We're almost to an amp. It's going down though. Yay! All right. See, and this is what we're getting off the induction now. And the higher that number goes, the more energy goes into the second circuit. So it's kind of helps itself, but you know, as soon as you turn the power off, it's off. Yes, sir. DC brushless motor. Very good. Yes, it is. These coils, the long skinny ones, they're like super powerful when it comes to magnetic field. Because there's actually more material there than there is flux. I mean, you would think that it would like have a problem, but it doesn't. Yeah, they do all the time. I got a naval base right next to me. No. I mean, I can explain it for a person, yeah, a normal person. I don't think anybody's really that dumb. I mean, okay, so we got these things over here. They're called transistors. And we've got these things here. They're called coils. And we've got this right here. It's called a rotor. And typically, the permanent magnets are on the rotor, typically. And the coils, this is the power supply. And the power gets fed into the coils, or at least that's the way I like to do it, to feed the coil first with the power, and then the power goes through the coil and into the transistor. And this is how I'm triggering. I'm triggering with this little strand of wire right here. It's called a trigger strand right here. And when the magnet passes the trigger strand, it generates a small amount of voltage, which will trigger the base in the transistor. And that's what makes the motor move, because it will release, it'll push and then release, timed with the magnets due to the trigger strand. So you turn it on, the power goes through the coils to the transistor, and it is timed by the trigger strand once I get it started, okay? And then you got your drive coil. Okay, let me get this going right. You got your drive coil, and it can be linked in series with all these other coils. Okay, so all these, like everything on the 90 degrees is all linked in series. So this 90 degrees, and then this one, you can see it. Those are linked in series, so when the magnets pass, you get a double jolt. So like these two magnets are firing at the same time now, right here. Alright, now what I've done is I've taken, this is a bifilar coil right here with 22 gauge and 30 gauge in it. And this is a bifilar coil with 22 gauge and 30 gauge. And this is a bifilar coil with 24 gauge and 32 gauge. Now I've taken the 32 gauge and the 30 gauge strands from each one of these coils, and I've linked them in series and connected them to this cap bank right here. You see how those lights are lit? Like really bright now, these two red ones right here? It's because there's lots of juice being stored in there because I turned the switch off. Now I turn the switch on, and yeah, it's kind of fighting right now. You got to put more juice in it to run two circuits. So when you got start running two circuits on 12 volts, it gets a little slow. It slows down. So we just turn it up a little bit. I mean, the more coils, the more power you need. It's just the way it is. 1.21 gigawatts, gigajoules. See, now this is both drives on, 31 volts in, 32 volts in. That's nice power right there. Let me get my tach meter out of my pocket. Okay. Well, we're above 1,000. That's interesting. So I'll let it run for a little bit because it's still going up. $11,000 divided by 8 is where our RPMs are at right now. Wow, still increasing. That's amazing. If it gets to 12,000, that'll be 1,500 RPMs. Right now it's a motor. If I hook up some things somewhere, it can be a motor and a generator. Right now it's just running 2 drives off of one power supply. But it's whatever I want it to be, whenever I want it to be that. Actually, I mean, I've got like 3,700 videos of pulse motor. And I'm not bragging or anything, I'm just saying I love doing this. I wouldn't necessarily call it a brag thing, you know, it's not all the videos are the best, but I like putting it out there, you know what I mean? So right now, all it's doing is moving at 31 volts. And I am using induction to run the second motor. I'm not using any Bedini secrets or anything like that. It's just solid induction from the spinning of the rotor is running the second circuit. Yeah, man, almost 15,000 or 1,500, sorry, RPMs. You're going to be able to run the second circuit off of this cap bank right here with no problems. You take that AC that's being generated and you can turn it into the DC without a problem. And then you can run the second circuit with it. And as you can see, there's very little, if no load at all, on the wheel itself. Yeah, you want to see what's under the table? Which part? This one right here, the shaft goes. There's nothing under there that can do anything weird. And then under here, there's nothing. There's a variac that it's not plugged in. But I'm thinking about using that thing maybe sometime soon. Hello? No, man, no. I do not get more out than I put in. But I am using the wheel's energy to run the second circuit on the wheel, which is quite unique, I think. It doesn't happen very often. You got to hook it up right. Usually anything you do with the wheel to try to run the wheel from the wheel is going to slow it down like tremendously. So here's 12 volts. We're going to run the 1 circuit. So this is 1. full mechanism. I don't understand. Practical use would be, well, I don't know, depends. Of course, it's a generator as well as it's a motor. And I'll just show you, for instance, I'm measuring how much induction electricity we're getting from the coils. And it's 20 volts of DC electricity without the circuit being on. And then this is when we turn the circuit on, because it's a cap bank. You can store energy in it. But as soon as you flip that switch, it flows out. But not all of it. And then that equilibrium is what you run the motor on. I don't care. I don't care, man. I would use magnetic induction commutator reed switch to start it without touching it. That's what I would do. I would have it in the closed position when I started the motor, and then that would make it go. That's how I would do it. Cause I'm ghetto like that. With a paper clip. You get what I'm saying? No, but I'll draw one up for you if you're really interested. Well, in essence, it's a pulse motor. And I will explain what a pulse motor is in just a moment. Or exactly how it works, I should say. Yeah, it's an electric motor. That's what a pulse motor is. It's a pulse motor because it's working on the trigger strand. And it pulses every time a magnet passes these coils. So two circuits are pulsing every time. Boom, boom. Hell yeah. No, hell no. What's the fun in that? Well, I know that's where we're going with all the cars and everything, but my first car had a clutch, a gear shift. There's no fan. Why would I be interested in doing that? Well, it's all good. Because I made them at different times, and they're from different motors, and this is just a hodgepodge of uh, coils put together. And as you can see, it works pretty well. So next question. It's storing power right now and it's off. See those red lights? That's energy in the cap bank. But once I turn it on, boom, it uses it. Okay? That's how that cap bank works. It's like just quick in and out. But when you turn it off, it pulls up in there again. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, I don't have a person to write code for me or do any of that Arduino crap. So I just use my hands. You know, it's good enough. It's cool for me. And I'd love to learn how to do it, but I just don't have the time to sit down and make myself do it. But I will one day. One day, probably late, too late, one day too late, you know? But I really don't have any like ambitions or aspirations or anything like that. I'm not a douchebag. I might sound like one, but I'm really not. Hell yeah. Now, what I'm saying, it's a what I like the best about this. Actually, I'm going to explain this to everybody real quick. I'm going to slow it down, turn it. I'm going to go through each coil this time, from the power to the ground and everything in between. Okay, so we got the power supply. I'm not going to leave anything out either. And it goes into the 18 gauge strand here, this gold strand. And then it's in series with the diode to the 20 gauge strand. And that's this coil. And this also has a trigger coil for that transistor. Okay, so it goes through the 20, and then it's connected to this coil. This coil, it flips over to the side over here, and then back to this coil. And the reason I did that is because it goes 18, 20, 20, 20, 24. Then back one back is 24. And then that is grounded to the power supply, and that's one circuit. And then we have the 30 gauge strand from this coil, the 30 gauge strand from this coil. It's about 1,000 turns of 30 in each one of these coils, and then 32 in this one, and again about another 1,000 turns. And then those are all in series and linked to this cap bank. Okay, so then from this cap bank, the power goes to this coil, 20 gauge strand, and then it goes from that 20 gauge to this 20 gauge, then it goes to this 22 gauge, and to this 22 gauge. And now I know that's different, but the drives are totally different too. So it doesn't really matter since they're not truly linked except through this cap bank. And that's a one-way flow. So, you know, it doesn't really matter in this case. In this case, it doesn't really matter. All right. But then that's all grounded to this transistor over here. And from this transistor, this red line grounds out at the cap bank. So there's a plus voltage and negative voltage in the cap bank. Works just like a battery. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Plumbing is a awesome job too. You know, man, it's a very, you know, not everybody knows how to work with a toilet, and makes your skills invaluable. Works for what, Nate? Zach? I just explained it to you. Did you just get in here? All right, let's fire it up. I started at 12 like I normally do, 13. Welcome everybody. I appreciate everybody swinging through to at least drop of what they feel, or, you know, if they have a beef, that's cool. If they like everything, that's cool. I just like that everybody decided to chill, man. I really appreciate it. All right, so this is 12 volts, and only one of those drives is active. See, the toggle switch is in the off position. Those lights are lighting up really hard. So I'm going to turn it on now. It's going to slow down. Maybe it isn't. A little bit. So I'm going to turn it up now. I think all in all, 26 volts. I mean, I gotta find out where to hook into this place, into this, to get enough electricity out to light this light bulb. Who's gonna help me do that? Who wants to tell me where to hook the light, the thing to get the electricity? I got an idea. I'm gonna move the clips from the cap bank to the gold strand in the first circuit. Hold on, I gotta make sure that's still live. Okay, it's all right. Okay, maybe those were a little too close. That's all right. Sorry, sorry. My coils went flying. I tell you, those cores are really sticky. I'm glad they didn't latch and, like, you know, swing through everything. That would have sucked. All right, so there's the one. Now let's get the second one, which is this line right here. And we're going to put this one on. Let's see if this helps. I have no idea what this is going to do. Now you see my lights for my circuits are lit, like lit up. Both of them are. So I know both circuits are functioning. But only 20 volts are coming out of the cat bank. And still not enough juice to light the light bulb. Wow, that's so cool. Let's try the Tach meter on this. Yeah, still about 11,000, just under 1,500 RPMs. Wow, that's so cool. Because this light is still lit, or it was just a second ago. The light down there was still going, and that way I know that the induction electricity is what's causing that circuit to function. Which is oh, wow, okay, just under 4,000. Cool beans, man. Mike does. What's up, bro? Hello. I'm gonna try out the Utron in a little bit. But, right now I do actually have a 9 volt that I can use. Hello, hello. What's up? How's everybody doing? See, when you flip that switch off, the light goes out completely. That one's lit though. First drive, like, I was saying. Who's nervous? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's got an 8 mag rotor. It's got a toroidal, 100% infill on the outside. Trying to move all the weight to the outside of this disc. It's really light and fluffy in the middle. Haha, yeah, I know, right. Get rid of all the wires. I would have to do 2 permanent ones then. And I will eventually. I mean, yeah. Still don't know what's good, man. I got a little bit of everything. I'm thinking a combo. And definitely something with like a three phase, 9 magnet rotor with 3 120s on it. One that feeds the next one. Yeah. But I hear you, Mike. I do. Oh yeah, I can't breach 1500 RPMs. Like, well, I did once. I got up to like 1700, but that is like the little imperfections in the print like really start to show after that. Heck yeah, Mike. Now I gotta ask you a question, Mike. Did you show Mike how to make that commutator switch? Because that's awesome. I'm trying to figure out how to build one myself, and I can't. I don't have any springy stuff. Um, from Faraday Research on his Renegade. It's kind of like my paperclip switch has functions the same way. And you had something like that too with the magnets. Not the spark gap. No, this thing is okay. Well, he calls it a commutator. That's. I was just wondering if you helped him out with that because it looks like the one that you have. It really does. Yeah, that the one that pushes that has the magnet on it that will push and repel. Yeah, I think it's a great idea, man. Been trying to build one is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, well, that's just an added bonus because it closes the circuit as well when it pushes it back. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, but like, yeah, I'll figure it out, I guess. The spring mechanism. I don't, and I'm trying not to buy anything. I'm just trying to use what I have as a spring mechanism. Yeah, of course you would, but you still need a spring mechanism. Not a spring, but something that'll bounce back. Something like a piece of copper, like a bigger piece of copper. So I need like two contact plates and then two magnets. See, I made this one over here, but it's like a failed attempt because the copper's so small that it just bends. It doesn't bend back. See? And then you put another piece of copper, but something like that. No, I know that, but I'm way before using the EMF on anything. I haven't built it yet. But, as soon as I get it up and running or together, and then I can put it up on the wheel, but it won't even go to the wheel yet. No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I don't. All right, I'm gonna get my Utron out now. I know that's how you make the magnet move, but you got to build the thing that the magnet is going to be on to begin with. I haven't figured out a way to do that yet. But I think, I don't even know. I'll have to ask, if I can, somebody how they built it. And then after I built it, we can talk about EMF and stuff like that. Like this right here. This is a prototype for the interior rotor for the Utron. So now that battery might be dead. I think it's dead. We'll just let it spin though. Yeah, that's definitely working. But it needs 2 more coils. And you see, it's totally working from the rotor in the middle, on the inside. So if I decide to cap this, which I will, I'm going to make a 12-spoked top for this. So when it spins really fast, you'll be able to see what's going on the inside. Yeah, I just, gotta find, I think, maybe even a piece of aluminum, because my aluminum's stiffer than the copper that I have. Now I have one more battery that I can maybe use. But when the other 2 coils, I probably need to put a diode on there in between each coil to make it directional, and then that would work probably phenomenally a lot better than it's working now. But I had a lot less space, and then I thought, if I make that 12-spoked cap for the Utron, I'll have a lot more space than using the one that I have right now. And I need it. I need more space. This is the bottom of a Utron shaped rotor, and the coils are on the inside rotor here, and then they can spin independently of each other. It's magleved on the inside there. It is a pulse motor though. Yeah, see, now that's working right there, but it'll stop functioning because the battery, it's a 9-volt battery, and it's powering 2 20-volt coils, or 20-gauge coils, and the reed switch. It's just the light in the reed switch though. It's got a indicator light, which is broken. So yeah, I probably need to get a few more reed switches, and Yeah, make that cap, the new cap, and maybe get a pouch of 9-volt batteries. Man, I'm tired. This is definitely a work in progress, though. And the first time when I put this new 9-volt on there, everything got really hot because it wasn't like I didn't know what to do right away. I'd spin it, it'll cool down. So neat. Yeah, but I can't wait to like put on the other coils and like put on the diodes too, because I think that'll help it spin in the direction I want it to. Uh, you're looking at a Utron, the bottom half of a Utron. Here's the top half. I'm not going to put it on, but see, it's hollowed out too, and it's supposed to fit that little motor in the middle there, but there's not enough room here to fit it in there. So I'm going to make a different one that has a lot more space. It's a pulse motor. Hell yeah. Well, about 5 more minutes, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I think only with diodes will it work. I mean, I think all my previous builds had diodes in them. So that'll be fun. Try and get the diode. Yeah, so this will probably be the first thing that I solder in, is these diodes. Because I really want to see this thing work the way I want it to. You know, with it capped and everything, totally enclosed, and then spinning as if being pushed from a force from the outside when it's really just coming from the inside. It's going to be sweet. It'll look like it's just spinning there. Hello, welcome. Yeah, it's just sweet. Alright, so before I log out, I'm going to try and put a new battery in there. Perfect. See, what I want to do is probably put this box on here like this, and then I can just swap out the batteries. But for now, I'm just gonna. Now the bobbins that I used for this are specially, I had to print them out, so. And then with the cap on it, it'll be smoother ride, you know. But that's about how it'll spin. I mean, 2 more coils might change that up a little bit. Or maybe putting more than one 9-volt in there will change it up too. But I can almost guarantee that this stuff is getting hot. But yeah, that's it pretty much in a nutshell, how it's going to work. You just put your power supply and your coils and your reed switch all on the interior rotor, and it'll work fine. Now, if I ever get it to spin in the opposite direction, that'll be great. But I think as soon as I put the diodes in, it'll be able to function like that. But like I said, limited space. Normally how I do diodes, connecting them with like clips like this, that isn't going to work in that confined space. So sweet. Now let's try it just for good measure, spinning it the other way. Works just as well, I guess. Anyway, I think that's really cool. And I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Peace out. Please subscribe. Bye now.